Hey, Crimson Tide fans, welcome into our 7th edition here of the Alabama Adapted Athletics Coaches Show on BamaAdapted.com. I'm Alex Boothe, joined alongside my partner Spencer Tomsett, and today we're lucky enough to be joined by the Director of Fan Engagement, Kensey McMahon. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kensey.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, we can go ahead and get right into it. You're obviously an extremely accomplished swimmer here at Alabama and internationally as well. After you graduated here from UA and finished swimming, what made you get into adapted athletics?
Yes, so through my time as a student athlete here, I had a lot of opportunities to work with different groups, and I was on SAC, which is the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and my role was the collaboration chair with the campuses. And so what I did was partnered with Adapted Athletics for one of our events, and we actually did a 3v3 tournament, and it was super fun. And so that was my first experience with Adapted Athletics, and then a couple of my friends and I would continue to go to games, and so kind of knew a little bit about this world, but then when I saw the job posting, I knew I wanted to be involved a lot more.
Does it feel kind of surreal for you to be on the other side of it now as a student, now essentially not necessarily a faculty member, but a staff member?
It definitely feels weird. I get asked if I'm a student all the time. So they're like, "What year are you?" I'm like, "I'm full time here." But it's really cool to be able to help the athletes and hopefully work towards our mission of giving them the same opportunities that I was able to have as a student athlete.
And can you tell the fans some about what all entails and goes into your job of being the Director of Fan Engagement?
Yes, so I would say that I have two main roles. The first one being our booster club, and so we rely heavily on our sponsorships, our booster club members, all of the support that we thankfully have a ton of to be able to help give our athletes the best experience. And so I work with a lot of our booster club members and our VIP upstairs during tournaments to be able to build those relationships. And then my other role as fan engagement is trying to make the experience outside of watching the games the best it can be. So anything from our pyrotechnics, bringing in halftime entertainment, food, everything that's not the actual game that happens during tournaments.
So this is a new position for you, a newly created position within the program, and even just within the, what is it now, 2 months or like month and a half that you've been around with us, we've already, now the pyrotechnics are certainly a part of Tide Tip-Off, and they've been around for a while, but we got sections of the $1 Million Band coming in. We've got, social media posts and everything, and I'm sure that you and Kelsey Temple work hand in hand because fan engagement is also hand in hand with marketing as well.
Absolutely. Kelsey's been a huge help, as well as Zach, who is our operations coordinator. And so we all work together a ton to be able to put this all together, along with the coaches, the rest of the staff, Dr. Harden and Dr. Strand.
So we just got done with the UA Early College Classic here in Strand Harden Arena last weekend. Can you just tell us what all kind of went into planning for that and getting ready for that tournament?
Yes, so that was one of our biggest tournaments this year with Women's Nationals coming up in March as well. And so a lot of planning went into this to be able to accommodate both our men's and women's wheelchair basketball teams. And so one of the biggest goals that I had was to try to reach out to as many different groups on campus as possible, whether it's Greek organizations, other athletic teams, community service groups. We're just trying to show people how amazing this program is, and so just trying to reach out to a ton of different groups, and that's what I'm going to continue to do, just to expose people to what we have over here. And I think once we get them hooked at one game, they're going to want to keep coming back.
What would you say is the biggest challenge? Because certainly we get a sense of it behind the scenes, but I know the fans get a little sense of it, but not as much. What would you say is the biggest challenge that you have going into a home tournament?
I think that it's about trying to get all of the ducks in a row, for sure, and thankfully I have a ton of help, but a big piece is just trying to explain to people how incredible our athletes are. We have an incredible product here, if you want to word it like that. We have some of the best athletes in the world, and a facility like nothing else in the country, and so I think if we can just get people in the doors, they'll be able to see how cool our sports are and want to keep coming back.
And I know the spring semester schedule for us is extremely loaded. Just how is that, just for you being able to handle that for the first time since it's your first year here as the Director of Fan Engagement?
Yes, so when I was a swimmer here, the season was pretty similar. I mean, it pretty much starts in October and runs through the end of March. And so I'm definitely used to the timeline. And so just trying to make sure I have a plan for every tournament. If we're feeling good about one area of one tournament, trying to move into the next, and just keep reaching out to groups, making sure that our Booster Club members know what's going on. They feel appreciated because we really couldn't do this without them, and just getting ready for what's next.
Now, I know especially you talked about building relationships with the booster clubs, and certainly, as we mentioned, we got great sponsors within the program, and we've got great donors who are very supportive of what we do. What has it been like for you in those first few months starting to foster those relationships with current and prospective booster club members?
Yes, so the Booster Club members, honestly, it's been a lot easier to be able to build relationships than I initially thought. I wasn't really sure going into this role because it is a new role, but the amount of support we have, it just flows through this program. We've got so many people who want to pour into what Dr. Strain and Dr. Hart have been able to build up, as well as what our athletes have been able to accomplish over the years and continue to be able to do. And so really just making sure that they can continue to see our mission and hopefully be able to fulfill what that mission is.
And I know it's a little over a month out, and you got other home tournaments to worry about before then. But do you have any early ideas, any early plans for Women's Nationals here that you're able to share yet?
Yes, we're super excited about Women's Nationals March 7th through 9th. We're going to have some media days lined up for our athletes, which I think will be really cool.
I think we'll be a part of that.
Yeah.
We'll probably be involved in some
I think
capacity.
you guys are going to be a part of that. That's going to be really amazing. And then not only is our women's team doing really, really well, and that's going to be fun to watch, but we're also going to have pyrotechnics. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have really good concessions. Again, we had Rita's there last time. I'm a big Rita's fan.
Yeah, same here.
Mm-hmm. And so, and I got a couple of surprises up my sleeve, so you'll have to come and see what it's all about.
Now, Alex already talked about it at the top, but you're certainly a decorated NCAA swimming athlete. You've been a part of great teams in that regard, especially now taking on this position and now having the task of coordinating a national tournament yourself. What would you say from your experience as an athlete on that end of it are you taking into account with trying to put on the best show for these soon-to-be national champions from whatever team takes the court?
I was incredibly blessed all 5 years as a student athlete here. The amount of resources that the school provided and my coaches were able to support with what really went a long way and led to a lot of my success and my team's success. And so keeping that in mind, moving forward here with our national tournament, I want to make sure that we keep the athletes in mind.
Yep.
While the fan engagement is so important and it's a ton of fun for the fans, we want to make sure that the athletes feel encouraged through it all. Again, they're some of the best athletes in the world here, and so making sure that they feel supported, feel appreciated, and get to have an experience, a championship level experience like other athletes have on campus is definitely my number one mission.
Well, that's about all the time we have today. But thank you so much again, Kensey, for joining us on the show here today. And thank you so much, Bama fans, for tuning in wherever you may be watching. Be sure to follow us at Bama Adapted on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, where you're watching right now. And we also like to take this time to thank our sponsors, Honey Stinger for sponsoring the Alabama Adapted Athletics Coaches Show, Jalapenos, Powerade, Physio-Lead, and many others for allowing us to do what we do every day. Be on the lookout for another Alabama Adapted Athletics Coaches Show on YouTube or on BamaAdapted.com next week. Thanks for watching.